Okay, so today we're doing something kind of meta. We're diving into a podcast description.
Meta, indeed.
But, and this is a big but, this isn't really about podcasts, it's about data.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So this podcast, it's called GenderDecoded, and they're on a mission to uncover how gender plays out in our lives, like in ways we don't even realize. And they're doing it all through data.
Oh, I like where this is going. Data as a decoder ring for understanding gender. That's a really cool concept. It's like using numbers to get at those hidden social codes we all live by.
Exactly. They describe it as a data nerd's reality show, which I kind of love. And they're going deep on everything. Fashion, media, lifestyle choices, you name it. What jumps out at you from that, just as an initial, gut reaction?
Two things, really. First, the sheer breadth of topics. It just goes to show you how deeply gender influences our lives, often in ways we're totally unaware of. And second, the emphasis on data visualization. That's key, right? Because data on its own can be dry, but present it visually, tell a story with it, and suddenly it clicks. People can connect with it on a whole new level.
Yeah, it's like that saying, show don't tell, but with data.
Exactly. For example, instead of just quoting statistics about the gender pay gap, imagine seeing it visualized as a shrinking pie chart representing opportunity. That's going to hit home a lot harder than just numbers on a page.
Way harder. I'm already thinking about the possibilities. Could they visualize gender representation in movies across different decades? Or map out how gender norms vary geographically? The possibilities are kind of endless.
Right, and that's what makes this so exciting. Are they going to focus on global trends or drill down into specific demographics? Will they be using traditional statistical analysis or something more experimental like social network analysis? So many questions.
So many questions. And that brings me to my next point, because they specifically mention uncovering trends in how gender norms are evolving.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Oh, that's huge. It means they're not just looking at gender as a static thing, but recognizing that our understanding of it is constantly shifting. Think about how much of the conversation around gender identity has changed even in the last few years. This podcast could offer a really interesting snapshot of those evolving social views.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder what kind of data they're going to use to track these changes. Social media posts, maybe, Google search trends, or perhaps something totally unexpected, like analyzing the language used in popular songs over time.
Right, and that's what I find so fascinating. This isn't just about gender. It's about how we use data to understand ourselves and our world. And it makes you wonder, what other hidden trends are out there just waiting to be uncovered?
Totally. If our clothes and hobbies can reveal larger patterns about gender, what else can our data tell us? It's a bit of a mind bender.
For sure. And that's the beauty of a deep dive like this. We start with one podcast description, and it opens up a whole universe of questions about data, gender, and society. Definitely gives us all something to think about.
It really does.
Ever walk past someone and just think, wow, they smell amazing. It's amazing how powerful scent can be.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into the world of fragrance.
Okay.
Uncovering hidden trends in what men and women are really drawn to.
Yeah.
When it comes to how they want to smell.
We're looking at data from fragrance reviews, product descriptions, even consumer surveys.
Okay.
Really getting into what people gravitate toward.
Yeah.
Beyond those typical gender stereotypes.
Yeah. So when we think classic men's fragrances, what comes to mind? I'm thinking that woody, aromatic kind of scent.
You're spot on. Our data shows those classics are still super popular. Think leather armchairs, old libraries.
Right.
They evoke a certain rugged sophistication that many men still connect with.
Totally.
Yeah.
But are things changing? I feel like I've been seeing more men's fragrances incorporating sweeter notes.
It's not just you. Data reveals a fascinating shift. Those classic notes remain popular.
Okay.
But men are increasingly into sweeter scents, vanilla, fruity accords, things like that.
Interesting.
There's this desire for fragrances that are both alluring but comforting too,
That's really interesting. It challenges those traditional ideas of what a masculine scent should be.
Right.
Almost like it reflects maybe a broader cultural shift.
It's possible. Maybe as we move toward a more nuanced idea of what masculinity is, fragrance preferences evolve too. This growing appreciation for scents that are strong but soft, complex, comforting, all at the same time.
So are we saying men are developing this taste for vanilla, these softer notes, but like, is the market keeping up?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
So let me guess. If a guy wants to find that perfect cedarwood vanilla combo, he's going to have to search pretty hard.
Yeah, it's a little like searching for that unicorn, you know?
Right.
There are niche fragrances out there doing it.
Okay.
But the mass market, not so much.
Interesting.
It's a real opportunity for fragrance brands, though.
Yeah, huge opportunity. It's like they're stuck in their old ways. Like men only want to smell like, leather and spice.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But moving on to women's fragrances, this is where the data gets even more interesting. What do you think are the top contenders for women?
I'd say timeless elegance is always in style, right? Powdery scents, florals, those classic notes that just kind of evoke, like, sophistication.
You're right. They're definitely favorites. French gardens, vintage glamour, that kind of vibe.
Total.
But just like with the men's fragrances, there's another layer here.
Okay, do tell.
So those elegant scents, still popular.
Yeah.
But the data also shows women are drawn to more vibrant, playful fragrances too.
Okay.
Like sweet notes, citrus, bright fruity accords, all that, super popular.
Yeah, it's like some days you want to channel your inner Audrey Hepburn, other days it's summer picnic in a bottle.
Exactly. It shows how versatile fragrance is, how it lets you express all sides of yourself. But this is where things get really interesting. The data also showed a surprising number of women are drawn to what we might call unconventional scents.
Unconventional, like what are we talking? Like leather, musk? Oh, wait, those are for men, right?
Right.
But seriously, what kind of scents?
Think gasoline, tennis balls, even wet plaster.
Wait, is this a hardware store focus group? Wet plaster.
I know, right? Sounds strange.
Yeah.
But it actually says something really fascinating about fragrance. It's deeply personal, often nostalgic.
So we've got men secretly craving vanilla, women embracing the scent of, well, wet plaster. It's like the fragrance world is way more complex than those perfume counters make it seem.
Absolutely. And that's where we see this disconnect, these evolving preferences, but what the market actually offers.
Right. It's like that friend who gives you the same birthday gift every year, even though you haven't liked it since you were 12. Well-intentioned, but...
Yeah, totally missed the memo. For example, our data analysis on women's fragrances. Amber is everywhere.
Amber, that warm, kind of sweet, almost resinous scent, right?
Yeah, exactly. And while it's popular, it doesn't actually rank that high in what women are actually looking for.
Interesting. So it's a case of, like, the supply not meeting the demand.
Exactly. It's there, but not necessarily what people are craving.
So what are they looking for then? If not amber, then what?
It's interesting, those woody sweet accords we talked about.
Okay, yeah.
Those are in high demand, but surprisingly hard to find mainstream.
And for men, I'm guessing, like, lots of leather, lots of spice, but not a lot of vanilla or musk to be found.
Exactly. It's like the industry is holding on to these old ideas of masculine and feminine scents.
No.
They're missing out on what's really happening.
Yeah, totally. It's like they're stuck, out of touch with, like, how diverse and nuanced people's tastes are these days.
Right. And it's not just about individual scents either. When we looked at the reviews, men's fragrances actually get way fewer reviews than fragrances marketed towards women.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe guys just don't talk about it as much. Like, let their cologne do the talking.
Maybe. But here's the thing. Despite fewer reviews, the average rating for men's fragrances is actually a bit higher. And for both men's and women's fragrances, there's a wider range of ratings when there are fewer reviews overall.
So it's like the more people try it, the more everyone agrees on if it's generally good or not.
Seems that way, yeah. Like it needs a certain level of, social proof before a consensus emerges.
Fascinating. What about those niche fragrances, though? The ones you don't see just everywhere?
Oh, good point. Niche fragrances, especially those known for unique ingredients, they have a whole different review thing going on.
Okay.
Fewer reviews overall, but the people who review them, they are passionate.
It's like a secret society, raving about these scents most people haven't even heard of.
Right. It's its own little world within the fragrance world.
Yeah, totally.
And it's driven by this desire for something different, something unique. And that brings us to a really exciting point. This shift we're seeing, it's all about moving away from these rigid ideas about scent and gender toward a more, well, personalized, expressive way to approach fragrance.
So for someone listening wanting to find their own unique scent, what do they do? How do they even start?
Honestly, don't be afraid to break the rules.
Yeah.
Explore beyond those classic categories, masculine, feminine. Forget all that. Let your nose guide you. Try things. Experiment. The world is your oyster.
It's not just about what smells good. It's about finding something that tells your story.
Exactly. And those stories, they can be so diverse, so interesting.
Absolutely. Well, this has been so eye-opening. We've talked about everything changing preferences, how the market's kind of lagging behind, even the psychology of scent.
It's fascinating stuff.
It really is. So as we wrap up here, what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Next time you smell something that captivates you, perfume, sure. But even just like freshly cut grass, a bookstore, really think about why. What's drawing you to that? What memories, what emotions does it bring up? You might surprise yourself.
I love that. What a great note to end on. So, for all you fragrance lovers out there, keep exploring those scents. Keep discovering those stories. So to wrap things up, if you're feeling like exploring those hidden layers behind the fragrances you choose, I highly recommend giving Gender Decoded a listen.
Yes, it'll definitely make you think twice about why you're drawn to certain scents and whether those preferences are truly your own.
And maybe, just maybe, it'll inspire you to break free from those fragrance norms and discover a whole new world of scents.
Exactly. There's a whole world of scent out there just waiting to be explored.
Absolutely. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to find a perfume that smells like freshly cut grass and sunshine.
I hear you. I'm on a mission to find that perfect blend of rain-soaked earth and black pepper. Until next time.
Happy sniffing.